Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the constant rush of modern life? Do you find yourself chasing the next purchase, the next achievement, yet still feeling unfulfilled? If so, you're not alone. In a world where time accelerates and consumerism reigns, many of us yearn for a different path, one that leads to true peace and meaningful living. In this video, we'll explore the transformative power of embracing a slow life. You'll discover how simplifying your surroundings can lighten your emotional load, how resisting the pull of consumerism can bring financial freedom, and how prioritizing your well-being can enhance your quality of life. Whether you're looking to reduce stress, find deeper fulfillment, or leave a lasting legacy of simplicity, this journey offers valuable insights and practical steps to help you achieve a more intentional and contented life. Stay with us until the end to uncover the secrets to living slower, loving deeper, and truly enjoying every moment. Your path to a more meaningful existence starts here. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me. And if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. The fabric of modern society is intricately woven with the threads of consumerism, an ever-present force urging us to spend, to acquire, to believe that our worth is defined by the things we own. From the moment we wake, we are bombarded with the message that our identity, our happiness, and even our sense of belonging hinges on buying into the system. Quite literally, we're told that owning the newest smartphone, driving the most luxurious car, or booking the most extravagant vacation will bring us fulfillment. These are marketed as the keys to our happiness, the answers to our discontent. Yet, beneath the shiny veneer, a stark truth emerges. Consuming endlessly does not nourish the deeper, more profound needs of our souls. We exist in a world where nearly everything, our time, our attention, our very lives, has been monetized. For those who remember a time when life moved at a more deliberate pace, this relentless drive to consume can feel overwhelming, like being caught in a never-ending race with no finish line in sight. But here's the beauty of where we are now. We don't have to participate in this race anymore. We have the wisdom and the power to say, enough. We've reached an age, both as individuals and as a society, where it's perfectly acceptable, even necessary, to opt out, to pause, to stop chasing, and instead embrace a slower, more intentional way of living. Letting go of the clutter, both physical and emotional, becomes a deeply personal journey, one that goes far beyond tidying up our homes. I'll share a piece of my own story with you. Years ago, I made the life-altering decision to downsize. I sold my large, sprawling home, which had once felt like a symbol of success, and moved into a narrowboat. If you know anything about narrowboats, you'll understand that space is limited, 50 feet long and just under 7 feet wide. Not exactly a mansion, right? The process of moving forced me to confront the mountains of possessions I had accumulated over the years. Things I hadn't even realized I owned, kitchen gadgets that hadn't seen the light of day in decades, dusty boxes from the attic, 5 coffee makers, yes 5. It was daunting. How could I possibly decide what to keep, what to discard? At first, the idea of letting go felt unbearable, almost like losing pieces of myself. These objects represented memories, milestones, and, in some ways, my identity. But as I began to release the grip I had on these things, something unexpected happened. I started to feel lighter, not just physically but emotionally. It was as though, with each item I gave away, I was shedding years of accumulated emotional weight, burdens I hadn't even known I was carrying. Moving into that smaller, simpler space brought with it a profound sense of freedom, a feeling I hadn't experienced in years. It felt like Atlas, the mythical figure who bore the weight of the world on his shoulders, finally shrugging off his burden. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The truth is, we don't need to wait for a major life event like moving to experience this freedom. Even if you're not planning to downsize, I encourage you to start small. Go through your home, your kitchen, your closets, your garage. Take a long, hard look at the things you've been holding on to and ask yourself, do I need this? Does it add joy or meaning to my life? If the answer is no, let it go. The act of clearing out the clutter around you has a way of decluttering your mind and spirit as well. You'll be amazed at how much lighter, how much more at peace you will feel with less. This isn't about rejecting capitalism outright. Far from it. I believe that capitalism, at its core, can work beautifully. It's a system where businesses create goods and services that improve our lives, and in return, they earn a fair profit. If someone bakes a loaf of bread and sells it for a little more than it costs to make, I'm more than happy to pay for that convenience. They've invested their time and effort, and I appreciate that. But the problem arises when we lose sight of balance, when consuming becomes an end in itself. When we start to believe that our worth is tied to the constant acquisition of more, we've tipped into dangerous territory. The real challenge is embracing capitalism with caution, with awareness. It's about recognizing that we can still enjoy the conveniences and luxuries of modern life without letting them define us. We can choose to step off the treadmill of endless consumption and find fulfillment in simpler, more meaningful ways. We can rediscover the joy of living with less, of being present in the moments that truly matter, and of understanding that our deepest contentment comes not from what we own, but from who we are and the connections we nurture with others. In the end, it's not about renouncing material goods, but rather about reclaiming our freedom. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values, about living a life that is rich in meaning rather than in things. This, I believe, is the way out, the path to a slower, more intentional, and ultimately more fulfilling life. The beauty of capitalism lies in its ability to foster competition, drive innovation, and offer choices. In theory, if one company overcharges, another will step in and offer the same product for less, creating a market that thrives on balance and fairness. However, the darker side of this system is the trap it can set for us, luring us into an endless cycle of consumption. We become caught in the pursuit of the next best thing, the latest gadget, the trendiest clothes, or the newest must-have experience. The promises of happiness through consumption are fleeting, as each new purchase only temporarily satisfies our craving before leaving us yearning for more. As we grow older, we start to see through this illusion. The things we once believed were essential, the brand new phone, the luxurious car, the designer wardrobe, lose their shine. With the wisdom of age comes the realization that life isn't about accumulating possessions, but rather about cultivating meaningful experiences, deepening relationships, and embracing moments of quiet reflection. These are the things that bring lasting joy, not the material objects that quickly fade into the background. Choosing to live simply in a world that thrives on complexity is a brave and often radical decision. It means stepping off the consumer treadmill, slowing down, and resisting the societal pressure to constantly want more. Most people around us are swept up in this culture of excess. They're always moving, always acquiring, always chasing the next thing. But if you dare to step away from that frantic race, you'll find yourself in the minority. And yet, being in the minority can be a truly beautiful thing. It's a choice that allows you to view life through a different lens. When you embrace a simpler life, you begin to notice things that were once overshadowed by the noise of consumerism. You'll hear the soft rustling of leaves as they dance in the wind, feel the warmth of the sun gently kissing your skin, and appreciate the stillness of a quiet morning where your thoughts can finally settle. These are the moments of richness that cannot be bought, no matter how much wealth you accumulate. They offer a depth and fulfillment that money simply cannot provide. Living simply doesn't mean living without. It means living with intention. It's about making thoughtful choices, keeping what truly brings you joy, and letting go of the rest. By slowing down and focusing on the essentials, you create space for the things that matter most: connection, peace, and a deeper appreciation for the life you already have. It can feel uncomfortable at first. You might feel out of place, or even judged by friends and family who don't understand your desire to break free from the relentless cycle of consumption. But with time, the calm and clarity you gain will far outweigh any initial discomfort. The rewards of this lifestyle, more time, more presence, more fulfillment, are immeasurable. As you strip away the distractions of consumer culture, you'll rediscover the simple pleasures that were always there, waiting for you to notice them. The sound of rain tapping against the window, the warmth of a cup of tea cradled in your hands on a chilly morning, the quiet contentment that comes from being fully present with loved ones. These small, often overlooked moments become treasures, and they are free. There's a certain grace that comes with aging, a shift in perspective that allows us to appreciate these little things more deeply. In our youth, we chase after big, bold experiences, luxurious vacations, extravagant parties, grand gestures. But as the years pass, we find that true happiness often lies in the quieter, simpler moments. The joy of watching the birds flutter around a feeder, the peace that comes from spending an afternoon lost in a good book, or the comfort of a long conversation with a dear friend. These are the moments that fill our hearts and nourish our souls, and they don't require a credit card. The simplicity we embrace with age is not a sign of deprivation, but a testament to our evolving understanding of what truly matters. It's about finding contentment not in the things we own, but in the experiences we share and the connections we cultivate. And as we continue along this path, we realize that the simpler our life becomes, the richer it feels. We may not have the newest gadgets or the trendiest clothes, but what we do have is infinitely more valuable. Peace of mind, meaningful relationships, and the ability to fully appreciate the beauty that surrounds us every day. That's the profound beauty of slow living. When you finally step out of the whirlwind of consumerism, you begin to realize the immense value in things that money simply cannot buy. Suddenly, life becomes less about chasing the next big purchase and more about savoring the simple pleasures that have always been there, patiently waiting for your attention. You may find yourself planting a small garden, growing your vegetables, herbs, or vibrant flowers that fill your space with life. The joy of tending to plants, watching them sprout and bloom, becomes a source of fulfillment that no store-bought item could ever replicate. Perhaps you'll rediscover a dusty book sitting on your shelf, one you've been meaning to read for years but never had the time. Or maybe you'll rekindle a long-lost hobby, a passion for painting, knitting, or woodworking, something that once brought you peace but was set aside in the hustle of daily life. When you remove the constant distractions of consumption, you open up space for these moments of quiet joy, moments that don't fade as quickly as the thrill of a new purchase. These simple joys have a way of sustaining you in ways material possessions never could, offering a deeper, more lasting sense of contentment that enriches your spirit. The more you slow down, the more you see the world around you with fresh eyes, appreciating the beauty in everyday moments. The way the sunlight filters through the trees, the calming rhythm of rain on your window, the laughter shared with loved ones. Resisting the pull of consumerism isn't easy. Let's be honest. The pull is strong, relentless even. We live in a world where advertisements bombard us from every direction, telling us we need more, and that happiness can be found in the latest sale or shiny new object. Even after you make the conscious decision to embrace a slower, simpler life, the temptations will still be there. It's all too easy to get caught up in the allure of a well-placed ad or the irresistible thrill of a limited-time offer. How many times have we all found ourselves scrolling through websites like Amazon or wandering through stores, not needing anything, but somehow filling our carts with items we convince ourselves would make us happier, even if just for a moment? That's the seduction of consumerism. It whispers to us that we need things we don't, convincing us that buying will fill a void, will somehow make our lives more complete. But here's the truth. The satisfaction from those purchases is fleeting. What you're longing for can't be found on a store shelf or in an online cart. But here's the good news. Resisting these urges is like any other habit. It gets easier with practice. The more you intentionally step away from mindless spending, the more control you regain over your life. Start small. Challenge yourself to go one day without buying anything, then stretch it to 2 days a week or even a month. Slowly but surely, you'll find that the compulsion to consume fades, replaced by a newfound peace in what you already have. The emptiness that consumerism promised to fill begins to dissolve, leaving behind a sense of contentment that no amount of shopping could ever provide. Filling the void with meaningful activities is the key. Once you stop spending so much time, energy, and money on acquiring things, you'll notice a beautiful shift. You have more space in your life, both literally and emotionally. And with that space comes possibility. What will you do with it? The options are endless, and the choice is yours. But the key is to fill that space with activities that bring you genuine joy and meaning, that make you feel alive and connected. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Maybe you'll take up knitting, creating something with your own hands, feeling the satisfaction of each stitch coming together to form something tangible. Or perhaps you'll start taking morning walks through the park, where the fresh air and quiet moments allow your mind to settle and your thoughts to wander. You might find yourself spending more time with your grandchildren, telling them stories from your past, passing down the wisdom you've gathered through years of living and learning. These connections, these moments of shared time and experience, become the true treasures in life. Maybe you'll devote more time to a craft or hobby you've always loved, but never had the time to fully pursue. Whether it's painting, playing music, writing, or gardening, these activities nourish your soul in a way that material things simply can't. They bring you a deeper sense of fulfillment because they come from within. They aren't bought, they're created, and they reflect your passions and your heart. And the most beautiful part? These activities, while simple, don't require you to open your wallet. They remind you that life's greatest joys often cost nothing at all. The reward is in the doing, in the presence you bring to each moment. When you're no longer caught up in the race to accumulate, you can finally slow down enough to appreciate the life you have. You begin to see that you don't need more things to be happy. What you truly need, meaning, connection, purpose, has been within you all along, waiting for you to discover it. The challenges of living differently in today's fast-paced, consumer-driven world are undeniably real. Choosing a life of simplicity and intention is a path that requires courage and persistence, and it is not without its moments of resistance, both from the world around you and from within yourself. We've all grown up in a society that equates success and happiness with accumulation, where owning more is often seen as a sign of achievement. This conditioning is deeply ingrained, and letting go of it can be a difficult, even painful, process. Society feeds us a relentless narrative that consumption equals happiness because, ultimately, it benefits those at the top. The more we buy into the idea that we need more possessions, more status, more validation, the more power and wealth flow into the hands of corporations and those in control. Choosing to step outside of that system, to slow down and live a simpler life, is an act of rebellion. And with any rebellion comes discomfort. You may find yourself questioning your decisions when you're surrounded by friends or family members who continue to chase the latest trends, purchase the newest gadgets, or measure their worth by the size of their homes or the price of their cars. It can feel isolating at times, as if you're swimming against a strong current. You might even wrestle with moments of self-doubt, wondering if you're missing out by not keeping up with the constant pressure to consume. But take heart. The discomfort is only temporary. The initial pangs of unease will give way to a deeper sense of satisfaction as you continue on this path. Over time, you'll find that the pressures of society no longer hold as much sway over you. The shiny allure of material possessions will begin to dull, and you'll discover a profound peace in knowing that you're living a life aligned with your true values. Yes, the journey can be challenging, but it's a journey worth taking. It's a journey toward authenticity, toward living on your terms, and it leads to a richer life, not in things, but in meaning and fulfillment. One of the most rewarding aspects of this journey is financial freedom through simplicity. When you start disentangling your happiness from material possessions, an unexpected but powerful benefit emerges. You stop spending money on things that don't matter, and as a result, you begin to save. And it's not just about having more money. It's about having the freedom to use that money in ways that truly enrich your life. Perhaps you'll choose to travel more, visiting family, or exploring places you've always wanted to see. Maybe you'll invest in your health, ensuring that your later years are lived with vitality and wellness. Or maybe you'll simply save, building a financial cushion that offers peace of mind, knowing you're secure and prepared for whatever life brings. Living simply reduces the financial pressure that so many of us feel as we age. Instead of working endlessly to maintain a lifestyle built on consumption, constantly upgrading, updating, and acquiring, you can shift your focus. You can enjoy the fruits of your labor without the stress of needing to keep up appearances or meet society's expectations. You may even find that you need far less income than you once thought to live a fulfilling, joyful life. By letting go of the pursuit of more, you open yourself up to a life of enough. Enough time, enough resources, enough peace. As we grow older, reflection naturally becomes a larger part of our lives. We begin to look back on the paths we've walked, the choices we've made, and the lessons life has taught us. When you live a slow, intentional life, you give yourself the gift of space to reflect in a meaningful way. There is no longer the constant noise of striving for the next big thing or rushing to keep up with an impossible pace. Instead, there is time to sit with your thoughts, to savor your memories, and to appreciate the journey you've been on. When I reflect on my life journey, I don't regret the things I didn't buy or the trends I didn't follow. I don't look back and wish I had spent more time in malls or scrolling through online stores. What I cherish are the moments of connection, the time spent with loved ones, the laughter shared over a simple meal, the quiet walks in nature. I treasure the mornings spent sipping coffee on the porch, watching the sunrise, and the evenings filled with meaningful conversations. These experiences, rich in emotion and human connection, are what fills my heart with gratitude. Living a slower, more intentional life has also brought me a deep sense of peace. I no longer feel the pressure to conform to a lifestyle that doesn't resonate with me. Instead, I've created a life that aligns with my values, a life where I can be fully present in the moments that matter most. Yes, I've made mistakes along the way. Like anyone, I've had my missteps and my doubts. But when I look back, I see that those missteps were part of the journey, part of what led me to where I am today. I wouldn't change a thing. The path I've chosen, though it may be unconventional to some, has brought me a level of contentment that no material possession ever could. It has taught me that true happiness comes not from what we own, but from how we live. It comes from the people we love, the experiences we create, and the peace we find within ourselves. And that is a richness far greater than anything money can buy. Leaving a legacy of simplicity is one of the most meaningful reflections we can have as we enter the later stages of life. It prompts us to ask ourselves, what do we want to be remembered for? For many, the instinct might be to leave behind material wealth or a collection of possessions that symbolize success. But as I grow older, I realize that the true legacy I want to leave behind has little to do with things and everything to do with how I lived. I want to be remembered not for the house I owned or the objects I accumulated, but for the values I embodied: simplicity, mindfulness, and an appreciation for life's true treasures. I hope that when my children and grandchildren look back on my life, they will see the way I chose to live as a guiding example. I want them to understand that happiness isn't something to be bought, nor is it found in the endless pursuit of more. Instead, I want them to learn that joy often comes from the smallest of things: the quiet moments of reflection, the laughter shared with loved ones, and the peace that comes from living in alignment with your values. I hope that they, too, will see that true fulfillment lies in embracing simplicity, in cherishing the present, and in being grateful for the everyday wonders that surround us. If they can carry these lessons forward into their own lives, then I will know that my legacy is not just a memory, but a living, breathing testament to the choices I made and the wisdom I passed down. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Prioritizing health and well-being in the slow life is another profound lesson that emerges as we age. In a world that constantly values productivity and material achievement over well-being, it's easy to overlook our health in the pursuit of success. The daily grind often takes precedence over self-care, and before we know it, we've neglected the one thing that matters most, our bodies and minds. But when we choose to live slowly and intentionally, we create the space to focus on our health in a way that nourishes us from the inside out. Living a slower life encourages mindfulness when it comes to our well-being. Instead of pushing ourselves to the brink, we begin to tune into our bodies, listening to the signals they send us. We become aware of when we need rest, when we need to move, and when it's time to nourish ourselves, whether through healthy food, positive experiences, or moments of stillness. This heightened awareness, cultivated by living slowly, allows us to make choices that support our long-term health, both physically and mentally. One of the most beautiful aspects of slow living is how it naturally leads to a deeper connection with nature. In our fast-paced, urbanized world, many of us have lost touch with the natural environment. Yet studies consistently show that spending time outdoors has profound benefits for our health. Whether it's a simple walk in the park, tending to a garden, or even sitting on the porch to watch the sunrise, these moments in nature are healing. They reduce stress, lower blood pressure, improve our mental clarity, and provide a sense of calm that's difficult to find elsewhere. In slowing down, we make time for these connections with the natural world, and in doing so, we nurture our well-being. In a slow life, health is not just something to consider after the workday is done or once we've finished our to-do list. It becomes a central priority, woven into the very fabric of how we live. With less pressure to keep up with the breakneck pace of modern life, we can focus on what truly matters: our well-being, our longevity, and our quality of life. Slowing down gives us the freedom to care for ourselves in the way we deserve, whether that means moving our bodies more mindfully, eating nourishing foods, or simply giving ourselves the time to rest and reflect. By prioritizing our health in this way, we ensure that we're not just adding years to our lives, but life to our years. This focus on well-being allows us to enjoy the fruits of a simpler, more intentional life for as long as possible, filled with vitality, peace, and purpose. Perhaps this is one of the greatest gifts we can give not only to ourselves, but to those we love, a healthy, happy, and present version of ourselves, capable of fully embracing the joys of life, both now and in the years to come. As we come to the end of this reflection on living a slower, simpler life, I encourage you to take a moment to pause and think about what you've learned so far. What insights have resonated with you? Is there one lesson from today's discussion that you feel inspired to bring into your own life? Whether it's embracing simplicity, prioritizing your health, or reflecting on the legacy you wish to leave behind, I invite you to share your thoughts. Comment below with the one thing you've learned and how you plan to put it into practice. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your engagement means the world, and together, we can continue exploring and growing on this path toward a more intentional, fulfilling life. Thank you for watching.